Gratitude has immense power, a power we often underestimate in our daily lives. I know this because I've experienced it firsthand. When we begin to practice gratitude, our lives change. We go from constantly focusing on what we lack, on what we haven't achieved, to focusing on what we do have, on what we've already accomplished, on what's right in our lives. This simple shift in focus has a direct impact on our emotional well-being, shifting our perspective from the negative to the positive. We live in a world that constantly reminds us of what we haven't achieved, what we don't have. Advertising, social media, and even some of our everyday conversations invite us to believe that we need more, that we need to be better, have more things, or achieve more to feel happy. But the truth is, happiness isn't found in what we lack, but in what we already have. Gratitude has taught me that changing our perspective is key. I've experienced how, when I practice gratitude, I feel more fulfilled, more at peace. I'm not saying you should stop dreaming or striving to be better, but I am inviting you to appreciate what you already have, to stop for a moment and reflect on the good that already exists in your life. And the funny thing is, the more you are grateful, the more positive things you begin to notice. When we practice gratitude, we aren't ignoring the difficulties. We are choosing to also focus on the positive, on what truly matters. That changes everything. We are no longer so focused on what we lack or what we have lost. Instead, we become aware of what we have. Our health, the people who support us, the small joys of everyday life, the value of the everyday, enjoying the present. One of the most powerful lessons of gratitude is learning to enjoy the everyday moments. Often, we are so focused on what we want to achieve that we forget to enjoy what is already on our path. I remember perfectly how, before, every time I reached a goal, all I did was think about the next one. I didn't stop to appreciate the process, to enjoy the journey. Gratitude changed that. It taught me to value the present, to enjoy the simplest things, and to recognize that we don't need big moments to be happy. Sometimes, all it takes is a morning coffee, a heartfelt conversation, the sun shining in the sky, or a hug. Those little moments, if we savor them, can bring us immense happiness. Gratitude versus negative emotions. It's easy to get caught up in anxiety, frustration, stress, and sadness, especially when things don't go as expected. We all go through difficult times, and it's normal to feel negative emotions. But what I've discovered is that gratitude can be a powerful antidote to these emotions. When I'm surrounded by stress, in the midst of a problem or facing a challenge, I ask myself, what can I be grateful for right now? This simple exercise doesn't mean denying reality or pretending everything is okay. No, it means finding something positive to balance the chaos. When I focus on the things I can be grateful for, even in difficult situations, I feel my emotional state immediately improve. Practicing gratitude helps me free myself from the toxicity of negative thoughts and redirect my energy toward the positive. I no longer dwell on complaints or on what isn't working. Instead, I give myself permission to feel good about what is. This way, even if the difficulties don't disappear, my attitude changes, and that makes a big difference in how I deal with problems. Gratitude improves our mental health. And if you talk to people who practice gratitude, you'll realize something important. Gratitude improves mental health. Scientific studies have shown that those who practice gratitude experience fewer symptoms of depression, less anxiety, and greater overall well-being. This isn't a myth or just a gimmick. I've seen how, by incorporating gratitude into my life, my sense of contentment and emotional balance have improved considerably. The most amazing thing about gratitude is that it changes our biology. As we express gratitude, our brains release dopamine and serotonin, neurotransmitters linked to happiness and well-being. This is a real and measurable phenomenon. Every time we say thank you or reflect on what we're grateful for, our bodies respond positively, appreciating what we already have. Sometimes we forget how much we have, the things we take for granted. If you stop to think, how many things in your life have improved over time? How many accomplishments, however small, have brought you closer to the person you are today? Practicing gratitude has allowed me to realize all the good I've received, from family and friends to the experiences that have shaped me. And this is why I always emphasize that gratitude gives us a sense of abundance. It's not about what we don't have, but what we already possess. When we focus on what we have, we begin to value every aspect of our lives much more. It's not just the big things, but the small ones we usually overlook. A good day, an opportunity, a lesson learned. That's what gratitude does. It helps us see abundance instead of scarcity. Gratitude in personal relationships. Another effect that gratitude has on emotional well-being is that it strengthens our relationships. By being grateful for people around us, we improve our connections with them. How many times have you thanked your friends, your family, your co-workers? This simple act can transform the quality of your relationships. Gratitude creates an environment of appreciation and reciprocity, which improves the quality of interaction with others. Gratitude also has a positive impact on how we see ourselves. When we are grateful, we feel more connected to others and more satisfied with our lives. In a way, when you are grateful for others, you are also grateful for yourself, as you recognize all the good you have attracted into your life. Life is not a straight or easy road. We all face difficulties, obstacles, and moments of disappointment. I know this because, like everyone else, I have had my ups and downs. I have experienced those moments when everything seems to fall apart, when things don't go as expected, and when problems pile up. In those moments, it is easy to lose hope and feel overwhelmed. However, what I have learned is that in these moments of difficulty, gratitude can be a powerful tool to strengthen our resilience. Resilience is the ability to adapt to adversity. What is resilience? Basically, it is our ability to bounce back from difficulties, adapt to changes, and move forward. And I'm going to tell you something important. Gratitude is one of the strongest pillars of resilience. If we don't believe in the good things in life, if we don't know how to value what we have, it will be more difficult for us to face difficult times. But when we cultivate the habit of being grateful, we begin to see life from a different perspective, a more balanced, more optimistic one. When something goes wrong, instead of getting down or focusing only on the negative, we can pause and think about everything we've overcome so far, the lessons learned, the strengths we've developed. In those moments of adversity, gratitude helps us remember our capabilities and find the courage to move forward. It's like an emotional anchor that keeps us firm, even when life's waves toss us around. The power of reframing our experiences. One of the strategies that has helped me most strengthen my resilience is reframing. Reframing means seeing a situation from a different perspective. And gratitude is an incredible tool for doing this. When I face a difficulty, instead of complaining, I try to find something to be grateful for in that situation. It can be something small like a lesson I've learned, or it can be something bigger, like finding support in the people around me. Through reframing, gratitude allows me to see difficulties not as an insurmountable burden, but as an opportunity to grow. For example, if I'm going through a stressful time at work, instead of getting stuck in frustration, I try to be grateful for having a job, for the opportunity to learn new skills, or for the chance to contribute to a project. This completely changes my attitude toward the problem, gives me a sense of control, and motivates me to seek solutions instead of remaining stagnant. Gratitude as a driver of positive energy. In difficult times, our emotional energy tends to decrease. Anxiety, fear, or sadness can make us feel empty. This is where gratitude plays a fundamental role. When we give thanks, we activate our positive energy. And that energy becomes the fuel we need to keep going, to not give up. I remember that during a difficult time in my life, when things seemed to be getting complicated, I decided to start each day by writing down 3 things I was grateful for. At first, I struggled to find things to focus on, but I soon realized there was more than I thought. I was grateful for my health, for my friends, for having a roof over my head. Those little things I didn't value before became a source of energy for my daily life. The most amazing thing is that when I focus on these things, I felt my resilience grow. My ability to face challenges increased because I was more focused on what I had and what I could do rather than on what I was missing or what wasn't working. Gratitude filled me with positive energy, and that energy was reflected in the way I faced challenges. Gratitude doesn't negate pain, but it softens it. It's important to understand something fundamental. Practicing gratitude doesn't mean ignoring pain or denying reality of difficult times. Sometimes life hurts, and that's completely normal. What I mean by this is that gratitude doesn't take away the pain, but what it does do is soften it, balance it. Gratitude doesn't minimize our difficulties, but it allows us to look at the situation more clearly, with more hope. When life hits me, I remember that I'm human, and we all go through difficult times. Gratitude allows me to make sense of what happens to me, without being consumed by despair. It helps me remember that everything is temporary, that even difficult situations have a purpose, and that the best lessons often come from the most painful experiences. The impact of gratitude on our long-term vision. One of the most powerful aspects of gratitude is that it helps us maintain a long-term vision. Life isn't just a moment. It's many experiences that accumulate. And in practicing gratitude, I've realized that gratitude gives me perspective. In the midst of a storm, I can remember everything I've overcome before. I can see how, over time, difficulties turn into memories that have made me stronger. I don't get caught up in the here and now of adversity. Instead, I look back and recognize that I've already been through difficult things and come out ahead. That insight gives me hope, transforming suffering into personal growth. Finally, I'd like to share a key insight. Gratitude has taught me to transform suffering into an opportunity for personal growth. We all go through difficult times, but what makes the difference is not what happens to us, but how we respond to it. Gratitude has allowed me to see every challenge as an opportunity to learn, to grow, to become a better person. When we look at our lives through the eyes of gratitude, we discover that difficulties teach us something valuable. They strengthen our resilience and prepare us to face future challenges with greater wisdom, with more humility, with more confidence in our ability to overcome whatever comes. Gratitude not only connects us to the good things we already have, but also acts as a powerful engine to cultivate optimism in our lives. It's easy to see the glass half empty, especially in times of uncertainty or when things aren't going as expected. But the truth is that gratitude has the ability to transform our view of the world, helping us focus on the positive, on what's working, on what we do have. Optimism as a conscious choice. In my experience, optimism isn't something that just happens to us. It's a conscious choice we make day after day. Of course, our natural predisposition can lead us to see the negative, to focus on what we don't have or what we haven't achieved. But optimism, like gratitude, is a practice. It's an exercise that requires intentionality and discipline. When I choose to practice gratitude, I open the doors to optimism. I allow myself to see the world differently, not as a place full of obstacles, but as a space full of possibilities, of opportunities waiting to be discovered. Optimism doesn't mean ignoring difficulties. Instead, it means facing challenges with the confidence that we are capable of overcoming them, being grateful for what we already have to open ourselves to more. Gratitude, when cultivated genuinely, creates a vibration of abundance in our lives. It helps us focus on what we already have, on what we've already achieved, on the blessings we often take for granted. And from there, it opens us to new possibilities. For example, if I'm grateful for my health, my family, my friends, or the job I have, I begin to see that I already have a solid foundation from which I can build. Simply acknowledging those blessings helps me have a positive mindset about what's to come. And when I face a difficulty, optimism allows me to see it as an opportunity to grow, to learn something new. It's this positive mindset that motivates me to keep going, to act with confidence. The power of a positive mindset. Our mind has incredible power to shape our reality. What we think influences how we feel and what we do. When I'm grateful, my mind focuses on what I have and what's positive in my life. This approach creates a positive feedback loop. I'm grateful, I value, I appreciate, and that leads me to have more optimistic thoughts. I've found that when I choose to view life through the eyes of gratitude, my thoughts are oriented more toward possibilities and problems. My attitude changes. I feel more confident and energized, and that, in turn, motivates me to take action, to seek solutions, to move forward. Gratitude and optimism feed off each other. Gratitude as an antidote to negativity. We live in a world full of noise and negativity. In the media, in everyday conversations, it sometimes seems like everything is wrong. But the truth is, we can't change everything around us. It's beyond our control. What we can change is our attitude and our way of seeing things. And that's where gratitude comes in. When I decide to practice gratitude, I break away from the cycle of negativity. I no longer get caught up in what I lack or what's not going well. Instead, I choose to put my energy into what I already have. And when I begin to be grateful, my mind fills with optimistic thoughts. I begin to focus on solutions, on the resources I already have at my disposal, on my ability to overcome any difficulty. Optimism as a magnet for opportunities. Gratitude also has a magnet effect. When we are grateful, we attract more things to be grateful for. This is because our attitude changes, our energy transforms. Optimism and gratitude open doors. It's as if, by focusing our attention on the positive, we are creating an energy field that attracts more positive things into our lives. For example, in my career, when I have focused on what I am passionate about, on what I am grateful for, instead of lamenting what I don't have or past failures, I have noticed that opportunities begin to appear more easily. The people I meet are more positive, ideas flow more clearly, and doors open in unexpected ways. My optimism and gratitude allow me to see opportunities where others see obstacles. Seeing the future with hope. Optimism is also related to hope. When we are grateful, our outlook on the future changes. We no longer look ahead with fear or anxiety, but with the confidence that everything will be okay. Being grateful for what we have in the present allows us to look to the future with optimism, with the certainty that everything has a purpose and that difficulties are just temporary stages. The important thing to remember is that it's not about denying difficulties or pretending everything is perfect, but rather about finding the blessings in the midst of those moments and knowing that the future will also bring good things. When we cultivate gratitude, our minds focus on the future with hope, because we know that no matter what comes, we have the tools to face whatever it may be. Personal growth doesn't happen automatically. It is a result of our decisions, how we face challenges, and the attitude with which we approach each situation that presents itself. Gratitude, for me, is one of the most powerful drivers of that growth. Practicing it daily transforms our way of seeing the world and allows us to open ourselves to a process of constant development. Gratitude drives us to improve every day. Have you ever noticed how people who practice gratitude tend to be more open to change and improvement? I've observed this in my life and in the lives of those around me. Gratitude not only connects us to what we already have, but it also motivates us to keep going, to look for ways to improve in all aspects of our lives. When I am grateful for small achievements, for progress, even if it's minimal, I feel driven to keep growing. Gratitude gives me positive energy to keep going. It makes me see that there's always something to be grateful for, even in the most difficult times. This positive energy becomes a driving force that drives me to keep improving, to keep learning. Gratitude transforms failures into lessons. In our lives, we all make mistakes, and failures are part of the learning process. However, it's easy to get caught up in frustration and self-pity when things don't go as expected. This is where gratitude plays a crucial role. When I practice gratitude, even in moments of failure, I learn to see those moments not as defeats, but as opportunities for growth. Instead of lamenting what didn't go well, I stop and look for something to be grateful for in that experience. Maybe it was a lesson learned. Maybe it was the fact that I was able to keep going despite everything. This way of seeing things transforms failures into cornerstones for my personal growth. For example, I've faced difficult situations where not everything went as expected. But when I began to be grateful for what I had learned from those experiences, I began to see them as valuable lessons. This shift in perspective not only helped me heal, but also allowed me to become more resilient and wiser on my path. Gratitude creates space for self-acceptance. Another fundamental aspect of personal growth is self-acceptance. Throughout my life, I've learned that we cannot grow if we don't accept ourselves as we are, with our strengths and weaknesses. Gratitude plays a fundamental role in this process. When I am grateful for all that I am, even my imperfections, I begin to appreciate who I truly am. This self-acceptance allows me to improve in a more authentic and sustainable way. When I don't constantly criticize myself or compare myself to others, when I recognize and value myself for who I am, then personal growth comes naturally. Gratitude helps me recognize that I am a work in progress, but also a person worthy of love and respect, just as I am. By thanking myself for every step I take, even for the difficult moments that have taught me so much, I find renewed energy to move forward, to keep working on my development. This allows me to move forward in a healthier and more balanced way, without the burden of constant self-criticism. Gratitude connects me to my values. The process of personal growth is, in large part, a process of connecting with our deepest values. Sometimes life takes us down paths that distance us from what truly matters, and stress, competition, or social pressure can make us lose sight of what truly moves us. However, gratitude has a way of bringing us back to our core principles. When I feel grateful, I recognize myself and the people who have influenced me in positive ways. This connection with others and with myself allows me to rediscover what is truly important to me. Through gratitude, I recognize myself not only as an individual who seeks success, but as a person who values authentic relationships, honesty, solidarity, and well-being. This connection to my values gives me direction and clarity in my life. Gratitude not only helps me see what I have, but also reminds me why I do what I do. When one lives in alignment with one's values, personal growth is not only possible, but inevitable. Gratitude improves our adaptability. Personal growth is also closely tied to our ability to adapt to change. We live in a constantly changing world, and learning to adapt is essential. In my case, gratitude has been an essential tool in learning to adapt better. When I am grateful for the opportunities one have, even those that seem challenging or uncomfortable, I am trained in my mind to see new things as opportunities for growth. Instead of resisting change, I accept what comes, welcome it with open arms, and try to make the most of it. This mindset allows me not only to adapt, but to leverage changes to my advantage. Over the years, I've realized that personal growth comes not only from stability and comfort, but also from the ability to embrace change, to be willing to constantly learn, and to find gratitude even in the unknown. Gratitude creates an abundance mindset. Finally, one of the most powerful aspects of gratitude is that it shifts our mindset. It moves us away from the scarcity mindset, which tells us there isn't enough to go around, that we must compete and fight for what we want. Instead, gratitude connects us with an abundance mindset, which tells us there's always something to be grateful for, that there are always opportunities available to grow and improve. This shift in mindset not only allows us to live with more peace, but also motivates us to continue growing. We know that by being grateful, more good things will come into our lives, because there is always something to be grateful for. This abundance mindset creates a space where personal growth is not only possible, but also inevitable. Human relationships are, without a doubt, one of the most important parts of our lives. From friends to family, from co-workers to partners, we all need positive relationships to live a balanced and fulfilling life. And this is where gratitude plays a fundamental role. It improves our relationships, strengthens them, and deepens them. Gratitude connects us with others in a genuine way. Gratitude is a bridge that connects people in an authentic way. When we express our gratitude toward others, we are recognizing and valuing their impact on our lives, whether large or small. This, in itself, creates an environment of trust, mutual appreciation, and genuine affection. Instead of focusing only on what we lack or what others aren't doing for us, we focus on what we have already received. This positive approach is what strengthens our relationships. For example, in my personal and professional life, when I thank people for what they contribute, whether a kind word, a gesture of support, or even their time, that gratitude creates a stronger bond. People respond gratitude, and in that sense, it's an energy that multiplies. The more I give thanks, the closer those bonds become, and the deeper and more lasting the relationships become. Gratitude fosters respect and empathy. The healthiest and most satisfying relationships are those based on mutual respect and empathy. Gratitude helps us develop these qualities. When we are grateful, we focus not only on what others do for us, but also on how they may feel in their own lives. Practicing gratitude makes us more aware of what others do for us, their effort and dedication. In this way, gratitude fosters greater empathy. When I thank someone for their time, their support, or their love, I recognize what that person has had to give to be there for me. This emotional reconnection fosters respect for others, as we better understand their point of view, their needs, and their feelings. This undoubtedly improves our ability to relate in a more positive and conscious way. Gratitude generates a circle of kindness. Gratitude has an almost magical power to create a virtuous circle. When someone feels appreciated and recognized, they are more likely to want to do more for us and for others. By expressing our gratitude, we are not only acknowledging what that person does for us, but also encouraging them to continue acting kindly. This cycle of gratitude and positive action feeds back and creates an environment where relationships are constantly nurtured. I have experienced this phenomenon in my own relationships. For example, in the workplace, when I thank a colleague for their efforts, they not only feel valued, but also motivated to continue collaborating effectively. This environment of reciprocity and generosity is what creates lasting and satisfying relationships. Gratitude turns relationships into a source of inspiration and mutual growth. Gratitude improves conflict resolution. Relationships are not perfect, and it is inevitable that misunderstandings or conflicts will arise at some point. However, how we handle these disagreements determines the quality of our relationships. Gratitude plays an important role in this regard because when we are able to express our gratitude for what the other person contributes, even in times of tension, we can open a way for conflict resolution in a more constructive way. Gratitude helps us maintain perspective. Instead of focusing only on what bothers us or what we feel the other person has done wrong, we can remember all the good they have done in the past. This reflection allows conflict to be resolved with greater compassion, tolerance, and understanding. Through gratitude, we can reach a more harmonious solution and strengthen the relationship rather than damage it. Gratitude creates a culture of mutual support. One of the most powerful effects of gratitude in relationships is that it creates a culture of mutual support. When we give thanks, we are not only acknowledging what the other person does for us, but also showing that we are willing to support others in the same way. In this environment, relationships become more equitable and collaborative. For example, in a work team, when people feel valued and grateful, they are much more willing to collaborate, share ideas, and work together toward a common goal. This not only improves efficiency, but also strengthens the sense of belonging and unity within the group. The same thing happens in personal relationships. By practicing gratitude, we create a continuous cycle of support where everyone feels supported and connected. Gratitude improves the quality of our long-term relationships. Finally, we cannot forget that the deepest and most meaningful relationships are those based on time and consistency. Gratitude is not just a one-time action. It is an emotional habitat that we must cultivate over time. By practicing it consistently, we not only improve our immediate relationships, but also lay the foundation for longer-lasting and more enriching relationships. As people continually feel valued and recognized, those relationships are more likely to remain strong, healthy, and grow with us over the years. No matter how much time passes, what truly strengthens relationships is constant gratitude, appreciation, and the willingness to continue nurturing them. Life is full of ups and downs, difficult moments, situations that challenge and test us. Resilience, the ability to bounce back from adversity, is one of the most important qualities we can develop. And surprisingly, one of the greatest allies in developing this resilience is something as simple as gratitude. Gratitude allows us to see the positive even in difficult times. When we go through difficult times, our minds tend to focus on the negative. We feel trapped, discouraged, and sometimes think that nothing good can come from the situation. However, the practice of gratitude can change this perspective. Instead of focusing on what we lack or the difficulties we face, gratitude invites us to look at what we still have, the support of loved ones, the opportunities that are still within our reach, the small daily joys. By focusing on these positive aspects, we develop a growth and adaptability mindset, which is key to overcoming obstacles. When we are grateful, our minds become more capable of finding solutions, learning from difficult experiences, and seizing the opportunities that arise even in times of adversity. This focus on the positive not only improves our perspective, but also strengthens our ability to cope with challenges. Gratitude helps us learn from difficulties. Every difficulty we face in life, no matter how difficult, has something to teach us. Sometimes it's hard to see when we're in the midst of a storm, but gratitude gives us the ability to learn and grow from difficult experiences. Instead of seeing difficulties as something negative or hopeless, gratitude allows us to recognize the lessons we can draw from them. For example, If you're going through a professional or personal crisis, gratitude invites you to reflect on what this experience is teaching you. Perhaps you will learn to be more patient, improve your communication skills, or redefine your priorities. Every obstacle is an opportunity for learning and growth. This change in perspective gives us. It helps us face adversity with greater confidence and the certainty that we are capable of overcoming it. Gratitude connects us with others in times of crisis. Difficulties are not something we face alone. Often, during the most difficult times, we find support in others, family, friends, co-workers. Gratitude strengthens these connections. When we are grateful for the help we receive, for the love and support of others, we not only strengthen those relationships, but also build a strong support network. Gratitude reminds us that we are not alone, that there are people who care about us and are willing to be by our side when we need it most. This sense of mutual appreciation creates an environment of collaboration and solidarity, allowing us to be more resilient and better cope with adversity. The close relationships formed through gratitude act as an emotional safety net, giving us strength in the darkest moments. Gratitude gives us perspective on adversity. Often, when we go through difficult situations, we feel like all is lost, that we are being punished, or that our difficulties are insurmountable. However, by practicing gratitude, we can take a step back and see the situation from a broader perspective. This helps us put ourselves in context and remember that even if we're going through a difficult time, there are worse things and that difficulties are temporary. Gratitude reminds us that not all is lost, that we can always find something to be grateful for, even in the midst of chaos. This shift in perspective not only helps us cope with difficult times, but also gives us emotional strength to move forward with more optimism and conviction that, sooner or later, everything will get better. Gratitude increases our self-compassion and gives us more inner strength. In times of adversity, it is easy to fall into the trap of self-criticism and resentment. We feel frustrated, and it is common for us to punish ourselves for the difficulties we are experiencing. However, gratitude plays a crucial role in developing self-compassion, the ability to be kind to ourselves when things aren't going well. Gratitude allows us to see what we've already achieved, what we've overcome, and what we've learned from our past experiences. Instead of focusing only on the negative, gratitude helps us recognize our own achievements and value our efforts. This strengthens our inner confidence and gives us the emotional energy to keep striving for our goals, even when things get difficult. We live in an increasingly fast-paced and demanding world where worries, expectations, and daily challenges can affect our mental and emotional health. Anxiety, stress, depression, and burnout are more common than we'd like to admit. However, a simple daily act, such as practicing gratitude, can have a profound and positive impact on our mental and emotional health. Gratitude reduces stress and anxiety. Stress is one of the main causes of various mental health problems. Constantly living under pressure, with a feeling that everything is urgent or important, leads to states of chronic anxiety. However, gratitude acts as a powerful antidote to this stress. When we focus on the positive, rather than the negative, we begin to reduce the intensity of our anxious thoughts. Gratitude invites us to recognize what we have and realize that, despite difficulties, there's always something to be grateful for. This approach helps free us from the constant pressure we place on ourselves and put things into perspective. Regularly practicing gratitude lowers levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, which contributes to an overall sense of calm and well-being. Gratitude combats depression and improves mood. Depression, a complex and debilitating illness, often plunges us into a cycle of negative thoughts and self-loathing. The brain tends to focus on what's missing or what's wrong, which perpetuates a state of sadness and hopelessness. However, gratitude can break this negative cycle. When we focus on the positive and begin to recognize the things we can be grateful for, even in difficult times, our brain's neurochemistry shifts in favor of a greater sense of happiness. Several studies have shown that people who regularly practice gratitude experience fewer symptoms of depression and a greater sense of well-being. Gratitude activates areas in the brain associated with pleasure and reward, which improves our mood. So, instead of getting caught up in dark thoughts, gratitude allows us to raise our emotional vibration and seek delight even in the shadows. Gratitude fosters a positive and proactive mindset. Gratitude is a powerful tool for shifting our mindset. When we focus on what we have, rather than what we lack, we shift our perspective. Gratitude invites us to see what's good in our lives, despite the challenges. This practice promotes a positive mindset, which is key to our emotional well-being. A positive mindset doesn't mean ignoring problems or difficulties, but simply choosing how we react to them. When we are grateful, we become more resilient and less susceptible to falling into pessimism. Gratitude helps us be more proactive in our daily lives, take control of our emotions, and face challenges with a more hopeful and optimistic attitude. Gratitude connects us to the present and reduces feelings of emptiness. Stress and anxiety often arise when we focus too much on the future, worrying about what might happen or what we haven't achieved. Gratitude anchors us in the present, in what we are experiencing now, in what we have around us. By focusing on the here and now, we reduce wandering thoughts about the uncertain future and the existential emptiness that can arise from not feeling satisfied with our current life. Gratitude acts as a reminder that life is valuable just as it is. We don't need to wait for things to be perfect or for great achievements to arrive to feel complete. Gratitude allows us to recognize the richness of the present moment, connects us to our daily experiences and what we have already achieved, promoting a greater sense of satisfaction and fulfillment. Gratitude improves interpersonal relationships and emotional well-being. Emotional well-being is deeply tied to the quality of our interpersonal relationships. Healthy relationships are a fundamental source of emotional support and well-being. Gratitude, by strengthening connections with others, improves our social interactions, reducing loneliness and isolation. When we are grateful for others, we strengthen emotional bonds, and this contributes to our mental health. Furthermore, gratitude fosters empathy and understanding, key qualities for maintaining harmonious relationships. The simple act of thanking those around us creates an environment of mutual appreciation, which gives us a sense of connection and belonging. Feeling connected to others is an essential component of maintaining a healthy emotional balance.